Hey kids, what time is it?
Hey, it's Edson with GeekTime TV, and Space Battleship Yamato turns 50 years old, also known as Starblazers, as it came to be known here in the United States, but originally aired in Japan, October 6th, 1974. 50 years old. It was the first show that I ever came across that was serialized, and to me, the concept of a show being serialized, where it told an overarching story over the course of the entire 26 episodes. It was originally the first season of 26 episodes, and I couldn't believe it. It was an animated show, no less, and it was told one complete story over the whole season, which I have never seen before this show before. Um, a few years later, in 1985, we'd get Robotech, based also on a series originally done in Japan, which were also serialized. But the first one that I ever watched was Yamato, and it was Starblazers here when it premiered here in the United States. So October 6th, 1974, premiered in Japan. I believe it was created. Someone could fact check me on this, but I believe it was created by Leiji Matsumoto. And the first series, they did 3 seasons as far as, and then after that there was a lot of movies and adaptations and that. But I think they initially did 3 seasons. The first story, which is my favorite one, Quest for Iskandar. I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but just like the setup. And I would, if anyone's out there hasn't seen it yet, I would highly recommend it. It's a great story. So it's called Quest for Iskandar, and it's the year 2199, and and the aliens from a far off galaxy in the planet Gamelon. So the Gamelons show up, and they start sending these planet bombs onto the Earth, and it spreads deadly radiation throughout, to the point where humans have to go underground in order to survive. But even that's not going to last that much longer, because then pretty soon the whole Earth will be uninhabitable. And then another alien, not a Gamelon, but another alien from the planet Iskandar, shows up, and she gives humanity hope. She tells them that if they can make it to her planet Iskandar, there's a device there, technology that can you can bring it back and get rid of all the deadly radiation, and the Earth would be replenished back to the original form. It's the only way that humanity is going to survive. But the catch is they have to go and come back within a year, or else it'll be too late. She also brings a bunch of schematics with technology that enables Earth to retrofit this old battleship called the Yamato, and to be able to travel in space. Most notable is something called a wave motion engine, which enables them to do space warps and travel through immense amount of space in a short amount of time. So to enable them to make the journey. She actually sacrifices her life to make it to Earth to do it, because she dies after the journey, after giving her message. So then they Earth comes up with this force called the Star Force. They retrofit to Yamato, and they start this journey. And then the rest of the story is basically their journey to Iskandar, and it as they go on their way, they have to fight the Gamelon fleet over and over again. There's Gamelon bases all the way across, and come back. So in the United States, it was actually premiered in 1979. So technically speaking, I could come back in 5 years and do another 50th anniversary of the Starblazers moniker. So And I was 1979. I was in middle school, and coming across this show was like hitting. It was like, to me, it was like hitting gold mine. All of a sudden, this became my top priority. Not 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 family or friends or school or anything. It was just I needed to like I needed to watch this show, and that was like my top priority. And the thing was, the school day ended around 2:25, 2:30, and I had to rush home because I believe the show started at 3 from 3 to 3:30. I had to rush home in order to make it. I couldn't get I ran home with a backpack full of books because I couldn't take a chance that the bus would get me there on time. The bus would take a circuitous route to drop off a bunch of people, so I couldn't take a chance that it would get home on time for that. So I just hoofed it home, got there just in time for the show to start, and that was it for a while. That was like one of my that was like my highest priority to do that, because I knew if I missed an episode, what big part of the story was I gonna miss? So that was the thing about this show, so great. And one time, like, our class in middle school wasn't the best behaved, so somebody did a prank in the classroom, and the teacher got so mad that they're like, he goes, all right, I've had enough. I'm gonna keep the whole class after school until I find out who it is. And I couldn't believe it when he said, I'm sure that's some similar experience other people have, but like the punishing of the entire class, even though they don't know who actually did it. Oh my gosh, I was devastated. I went into a panic mode. I'm like, are you kidding me? How am I supposed to make it to Starblazers? What am I gonna miss? I was like panicking. I was like begging him to let me go. And in the end, he didn't keep us there as long as he had planned. Not, I don't think it was because of me wanting to rush home. He probably just changed his mind. So, but he did keep us there long enough for me to get home about like 12 minutes late. So I missed like half that episode, and I was like devastated. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, I can't believe that. Now looking back at all the things that go on, that are, part of the adult life, and things I've gone through, that was like my big thing. My biggest, worry was that I was going to miss that. Of course, the show cycled through again once it ended its first 26 episode. It did it again, so I was able to watch it over and over again. And I watched it many, many times since then. I love it. Highly recommend it. If you go on, you can just go on YouTube and you search for Yamato season one or Starblazers season one. You can see all 26 episodes in original form right there. Let's go through. You'll love it. Even though it's 50 years ago and the animation might not be, obviously up to par of today's technology, it was a great story. One of the things that I really loved about it was, well, there's a lot of things. The fact that it was a serious story that took place over the course of the whole season. And season one, there was a season two and three. I loved season two as well. I wasn't that keen on season three, but season one, like I described, the story Quest for Iskandar, and there was a lot of things that drew you to it, other than the serialized. It was, they had characterization, character development over the course of the story. They had dramatic events, amazing space battles with consequences. One of the more compelling things is the main antagonist, who's the leader of the Gemlons, called Deathlock. He was a really well-developed character with a lot of facets. He wasn't just somebody who's just like, oh, I'm just just trying to conquer the universe. There's like specific reason why he was doing what he was doing, and he was very charismatic and personable, and you could actually, like, not necessarily identify with him, but like, he was interesting enough to make this whole story so much better. And it was great. It was great. There was this the narration. Can't think of. I can't come up with the who did the narrator. I have to look it up, but the narration was great. This guy was like, who did the narrator, often at the end of the episode, towards the end of the episode, he'd like say something like, "Hurry, Star Force! The Earth has only 189 days left," and it was like it created this like, you know, this urgency that's like, oh, there's only 189 days. There's only 121 days left. There's only 70 days left, and it was like incredible that they did that. The opening song, there's an opening song that's about the Starblazers. It's always, no matter how many times I listen to it, it always gives me the chills with hearing that song. And then the very last scene of the first season, when, you know, spoiler alert, I mean, it's 50 years old, but spoiler alert, they do make it back. And the very last scene, it's incredibly touching. The captain of the, they actually, in Starblazers, they actually call the ship the Argo instead of the Yamato, but the captain of the ship, Captain Avatar, he has gotten sick over the course of the voyage. He from the radiation that that Gamelan's originally hit with Earth with, and by the time he gets back to Earth, he's near death, and he's able to. It's such a touching scene that they make it back, and he's looking at the Earth from the view screen of the ship, and it's like he's like, oh, he's like in bed near death, and he's like, at least I was able to see Earth one last. It's such a great scene. He's like, at least I was able to see Earth one last time, and then he dies. It's so tragic and incredibly touching. It's just great. And then the very last scene, that, like I said, they do make it back, and the narrator's like and the narrator says something like, and this one always gives me chills as well. The narrator says, in the year 2200, Star Force made it back to Earth, and it was like, there it was. It's like the whole thing of why the whole show existed, for them to make it back and save the Earth. It's like, I promise you, love it if you go back and see it. They actually did a remake, I believe 2012, maybe 2013. I have it here on Blu-ray. I don't think they're not able to put the original series on Blu-ray, but the remake called Starblazers, $21.99. Highly recommend that one as well. It's very, very it's very it honors the original show very well. It doesn't make any significant changes. It's still the same plot. There is a little bit more characterization. It adds a few things. It does add a few more characters as well, makes it more interesting, but it does honor the source material very, very well. And I highly recommend watching both. Obviously, it's updated animation, and voiceover and things like that. So, because it's more recent, but I actually have a, yes, it looks something like this. This is part of the remake, and it's very, very good. So both versions are, but of course my original one is always the one I saw first, and have such great memories of it when I was a kid, and it's just an incredible show. It just broke all sorts of new barriers for not just TV in general, but animation for me, or as we used to say, cartoons. And that's my personal experience as finding this great show, the Yamato, Space Battleship Yamato, aka Starblazers. So October 6th, 1974, originally. So 50 years old. Happy birthday, the Yamato. And looks like it's time for me to watch it again. Both the original series and the reboot, Starblazers, $21.99. Absolutely love it. Hope you give it a chance if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, please, I would love to have a conversation. Please leave me a comment on anything that your personal experience with Space Battleship Yamato, with Starblazers, however you saw it first. And yeah, I could come back here in 5 years or so in 2029 and do another 50-year anniversary because it premiered in 1979 here in the United States. Of course, back then when I first started watching this, I had no idea it was something that came from Japan. I was just like so into it was, like I said, it was like this discovering a gold mine for me, and I was like not thinking about where it came from originally or anything like that. Later on, of course, I learned that it was originally a Japanese animation. But what a great show, and I thank you for watching. Thank you for indulging me on my personal experience here, and please let me know what your experience was in watching this show, if you did watch it, and what you thought of it, what you think of it now, even in the reboot as well, which is really really great. And you haven't, like I said, if you haven't watched it, just do yourself a favor, go on YouTube. I know it. I know it's going to look old because of because it is old, but it's such a great story with the characters and narration and everything. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.
宇宙戦艦ヤマト Thanks for watching GeekTime TV. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure to check the little bell icon anytime someone from our network drops new content here. Want some GeekTime swag? Check out the merchandise available in the GeekTime TV store, linked in the channel description below. Share GeekTime TV with friends, and as always, thank you for your support. We'll see you soon.